So let me talk about exercise with pulmonary fibrosis. I think the foremost thing to understand is it's going to be hard. And it's going to be hard because it's a lot more work to breathe. And your body is working a lot harder to breathe when you have pulmonary fibrosis. It's just the effort required to breathe in through a cannula like this is a lot more than what you're used to. And the amount that your heart rate increases is a lot more than what you would expect for the relatively moderate level of exercise that may not have been an issue at all in the past. So, it's something that's a real challenge where the same type of thing that would have been easy now requires a lot of heavy breathing, and your heart rate is really going just to do the same thing. And it's really easy in that kind of situation to say, okay, I'm sick. I have a good excuse. I'm not going to do it. Unfortunately, that's just going to create a lot of challenges down the road. Your body is not going to hold up nearly as well. You're not going to get rid of the stress that you need to get rid of. And when it comes to a transplant, what I've really come to believe and understand is that one of the key things that drives and determines the success and the speed of your recovery is how quickly you can get up and standing and walking and using the new lungs. Because the new lungs are kind of put in place and they're flat and they're not really fully expanded and they're not really fully utilized with all the blood coming to them until you start walking. So getting up and walking when you're extremely uncomfortable and it's the last thing you want to do is so critical. So what you hear from the people at the UCSF group with their transplant center is get up and walk, get up and walk, get up and walk as soon as you possibly can. And they're going to be pushing you to do it when it's the last thing you want to do. And why? Because that's what really determines the successful outcome. And so it's just one example of many why staying in good physical shape is so important. It's going to be hard though, because it really is the last thing you want to do. You feel tired and it's so hard and it feels like it's so much more effort than it should be. But I think it's just one of those things that each of us can do that really impacts the outcome. There's so many things that are not in our control and that I feel like are not in my control. It's one of those things that is. So make every effort to really focus on that and put the difficulty piece of it aside and just make it happen. So in terms of exercise, that can mean a number of different things for different people. I think I'd start with do what you like. If you really like walking, then walk. One of the critical things is that you're simply able to get up and walk. So you have to have some upper body strength and you have to have some leg strength. Those are the two key things. But if you like walking, then that's great. You can walk. If you really like other forms of exercise, say yoga, then do yoga. I think that there's some real flexibility in terms of what type of exercise you do, just that you're doing it. And make sure as you exercise that you have your oxygen saturation level where you can monitor it. These things can be worn while you walk or while you use a strengthening weightlifting machine or while you're doing yoga. You can just wear it the whole time. Just make sure you know exactly where your saturation level is so you don't go below 90. And as long as you've got that and your heart rate is at a level that it should be, and you should be able to consult a professional, a medical professional for advice on that, you're set. Just take your time. If you're doing squats, simply standing and then squatting and standing and squatting to strengthen your legs, do it as slowly as you need to. Do 5 of them and rest for 10 minutes. And then do another 5 and rest for 10 minutes if that's all you can do. That's the key thing that I found is, instead of being able to do 3 sets of 15 right away back to back, now I might be able to do 5 at a time. and I need to just take a long break between those sets of 5. It's okay, every bit that I can do matters. So that's the key advice that I have on exercises. Just find what you like and do it at the speed that you can, and make sure you monitor your oxygen saturation and your pulse rate.